Hello everyone, this is how we are going to start assembling walls to make the walls of the cubicle for our new base move-in project. So as you can see, I have two frames side by side. They are the 4-foot by 8-foot frames, and what we're going to do now is we're going to remove those 2 feet at the bottom. I already pre-built all of my frames. If you didn't, don't add these 2 feet, but if you did, no worries, I'll show you how to remove them. Alright, so what you're going to do to remove the feet is I find if you just kind of step on it with both feet and then slightly lift up and then put to the side, it'll stay. As you can see, it separated them, and you'll just do this one for the other foot, just like that. And then we'll move these off to the side. You can put them back in the bag if you're not going to use them. Just for the sake of this video, we're just going to put them to the side right here. The next thing you need is this longer box. It's about the length of a forearm, thereabouts. So what you're going to do is you're going to open this box up and we'll lay out the materials for this. Alright, so these should be all the contents of your box, the little foam insert, instructions, your spare foot, and then you're going to have this rectangle piece right here with 2 holes. And then these clear pieces, we will not use these clear pieces for this part. Now that you have everything unwrapped, what you are going to do is you are going to first remove the plastic from this piece right here, and then we will start to assemble those together. Now what I've done is I moved the foot closer together between these 2 pieces right here, and what you're going to do is going to lift up, drop it in, make sure that the rubber piece lines up with that hole down there. That's important to help it lock in. Then you're going to pick up the other foot, do the same, and then I find it a little bit easier if you kind of grasp them up at the top and you just kind of step on them until they like click or they'll snap into place. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece right here, set it to the side real quick, because we're going to have to roll this to the ground. And the easiest way to do that is kind of walk it down. So what you do is I grab it so it supports the middle, and then I just run my hand up till it gets to the ground. Make sure you have plenty of space to do it as such. And then we're going to lay it entirely flat, just like that. Then that piece you put aside, we're going to take it. We're going to come down here to this spot right here. Notice how it has 2 of the rubber pieces, and there's 2 holes right here. You're going to kind of line it up. You might have to pull it closer together because sometimes, even when you get it too close to the carpet, it falls. And you're just going to make sure it's nice and snug in place, and the rubber pieces will fall into those holes. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your foam core. I have mine stored over here. You're going to need 2 for each side, and I will show you why in a second. This will provide your soundproofing. So grab 2 of each, or you could grab all 4, move it closer to your work area. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to grab 2 at a time. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your foam core. You're going to just kind of place it in. Make sure that it doesn't cover up your channel piece, and I'll show you what I mean in a moment. But you're going to slide it in. It's going to be a little bit floppy and loose. That's why you got to add that top fabric, because it will provide support to keep it in there. But you just want it to sit inside. So this track is right here. You want it to kind of sit inside the frame itself. So you might have to work at it a little bit because some of the pieces are a little tight. But eventually it will come in and lay fairly well inside the frame. Don't worry if yours don't fit all the way in the frame. When you move and shift them around, it will fall into place and it will actually look better. But for right now, do the best you can so that it's not blocking this channel. Then you're going to grab the second one and you're going to do the exact same thing. I always find it's helpful to get it centered sort of on that middle pull. And you just kind of slide it down until it sits so it's not blocking it. Don't worry about blocking that middle channel, though it is kind of helpful if you don't, because that way you can put the fabric on a little bit easier. Like I said, just kind of pushing them up a little bit because some of these panels are a little bit tighter than others, but this will provide the soundproofing for the cubicles. That way they'll all sit well. So now we'll start with the fabric. So this is the bag your fabric will come in. It's pretty heavy box, so just be cautious when you're lifting that. But you will have 2 sets of panels in here. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the first one. I like starting with the green one. I just find it's a little bit easier. And we're going to lay it out, and I'll show you a particular way to lay it out. Alrighty, as you can see, I've kind of laid out the fabric It's kind of like your old-fashioned fitted sheet, a little bit nicer though. So what you need to make sure though is this loop. This will help you remove it later for ease of pack up. Make sure it is by the feet. That way, when you go to do it, it will be at the bottom, it will be out of the way and out of sight and out of mind. Next step you're going to do, I find it easier to sit on the floor because this piece is really, really big. What you're going to do, it's going to kind of fold it over so you have the rubber piece folded over so it fits in this groove, and then you are going to shove it just like that into the channel, fabric and all. Sometimes you'll get really lucky and it will act like a zipper. It is a little easier with two people because then they can work on opposite sides. But if you are by yourself like I am, it may take you a little bit longer, but you'll be able to get it done. But you just kind of fold. I kind of find a pinch and roll motion kind of helps it fall into the channel a little bit easier, but it allows for that piece to do. So you're going to go down and you're going to do this whole entire length of the side, and I will help you on the next one. So as we're approaching the middle, it is a little bit difficult just because you have a little bit extra pieces right there because you have the foot in your way right here. But typically, if you get this side started, you can kind of run your thumb and it will run along the rest of the way. And then you can travel the whole length of the panel. Notice that the board has fallen out, that's fine. It will be fixed when we go to flip it over. And now I'm nearing the corner right now. And as you can see, I have a whole nother piece to go, but you kind of just press in, your corner will hang out a little bit, it'll fine. Because once you pull it tight for the other side, this will actually fall back into place. All right, when you're starting another side, as you keep doing this, it will get a little bit tighter as you keep going around. It might take a little bit longer, but it will get in, it will go in. So this corner will fix itself once I pull it tight on that other end, but I'm giving myself a little bit of slack so that I can just run across the whole video. Just sliding it in, kind of sort of like a zipper. But this little crunch roll motion I have found makes it a little bit easier to get it in that channel, and it kind of helps save your fingers a little bit from being burned from the constant rug burn of the fabric. Every once in a while I run along the edge just to make sure that it's still staying even, and then keep up with that crunch roll. So you kind of crunch. Notice how I roll my fingers slightly towards me. That helps just pull on the fabric a little bit so it lands in the channel just like that. And as you go down, it will get a lot tighter, which will be good because it will give it a nice smooth finish, as obvious from other panels assembled before. But just keep doing that crunch and roll motion, and then when you get to the corner, same thing, and just, you know, crunch, roll, repeat. Makes it super easy. It'll save your fingers in the long run, especially like me, who's assembling all of them now. But get to the corner, you rotate around and just pull slightly so that it gives you a little bit more slack, which is why we left some down there so that we can fold a little bit in the air. This one you might have to use two hands to do because as it gets tighter it will become a little bit harder. So if you can see like that, you just take it, pull a little bit slighter. It may pop out on that other channel. That will give you just enough that you can just fold it to roll right in just like that. See? Then once you get it started, it's the same process over. I do find that sometimes picking up the fabric off the foam core helps a little bit, but same process as before, the crunch, scroll, and move, making sure it all stays flush and even as you go through it. And just like before, as you get closer to this part right here with the feet, except this time now you have that flat piece, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you can't just exactly run your finger because your finger will fall into that gap right here. But after you get past that piece, you can continue back going with the crunch roll method. All right, we're on the final corner for this side, and like I said, it's going to get really, really tight, so it's going to be a little bit harder to pull, but just pull it slightly. It'll smooth out some of those extra wrinkles and everything, and it will give you enough grip. And then fold over, pinch and roll, and then kind of keep doing that all the way down. This one might be the side that you might want to use 2 hands. If you are doing it with a partner, start on opposite ends. For the other ones that are assembled in here, we had one person on this end and one person on this end, and one worked this way and the other one worked that way. We found that that's pretty easy if you have 2 people. If you have one person, I recommend starting at that bottom corner and just working your way around. I call it the boot scoot because you are sitting on the ground as you're scooting along, but it helps so that you could do it, because if you're short like me, this makes it a lot easier and a lot more accessible. Alright, as you can see, I am nearing the end and it is getting a little tight. This is definitely a part I recommend you use 2 hands. You could do it one-handed, it's going to take you a little bit longer, but with this one, kind of pull it off the cliff, because it forms a little cliff right here. Kind of pull it off the cliff and use your thumb to angle it in, so you're kind of doing a pinch motion. See? Pinch. Just scoop off the cliff and then pinch into the channel, and that will help, and it will look really nice and flush once all of this is in. Alrighty, now that you have successfully finished your whole thing, it should look nice and flushed. If there is issues, like that corner over there is an issue spot, super easy. You just go over, and like in our case over here, it's just not in all the way, so you just kind of push it down, smooth out the fabric a little bit, and it will lay flat again. So now you have a successful completed square. We're going to flip it over. So what you need to do is, I recommend you go back to the end over here that you put this little piece on, pick it up by that piece so that it's fully standing, running your hand down the bottom like this. So now it's fully standing. You'll have your panels. You can fix those once you flip it around. Once it's up, I kind of shove them out of the way for right now so I can move a little bit easier. And then what I do is I just take a side and I walk backwards, because it will get really large. So you just do it so the green side is facing you, and then I kick it back just enough, running my hand again along that center till I grab that piece right here, and then lay it flat. So now you're going to just lay it down, make sure it's kind of back in the spot that you had it before. That way you can still have the same amount of floor space you were using before. And if your foam tiles did what mine did, kind of just grab them and pull them back over so that they sit inside more in the black area. That way they just keep a little bit straighter, a little bit neater. Just move them in a little bit. Like I said, the other side will kind of help keep them in line, make it a little bit easier. But now that you have it flipped over, we're going to grab 2 more panels, like such. And then those 2 panels, you're going to do the same process. Across that center bar, kind of send it kind of straight so it falls directly into the spot again, kind of so. It will shift after you move it back up, so I'm not quite worried about it right now. If it is in your way while you're putting on the fabric, it will make it a little bit easier to just scoot it once you start getting fabric on. And again, come back up, put it on your pipe, and kick it back. Once you've laid the 2 new ones so you can't see that middle bar anymore, you're going to go back to your bag and grab the next fabric. Once you put out your next fabric, make sure this like spotted side is facing out, because this is the correct side, and that this loop is in the bottom corner. And what you're going to do is kind of just pull it so it's not a wrinkled blob, but you're just going to kind of pull it and unfold it so it lays kind of neat, so So when you start to do this, you can kind of just run and not have to worry about it. But you're just going to pull it so it's slightly neat, kind of like you're making a bed. And you're just going to grab another corner, pull it over. This will form the back side of your panel. All right. And then you go back to this corner over here, and this is where we will begin to start tucking the back panel in. Alrighty, same method as before. You're going to grab it in like this pinch method. It's easiest on the first one because you could just shove it in that channel a little bit. And once you get it started, the first one typically goes a lot faster. But see that loop by the foot? That lets you know you have it the right direction. And then the same tuck and roll motion you did on the last side, you are going to do on this side. Slight correction because I did not realize this. This one is going to be slightly different than other ones you have done or the first panel, because this one was printed slightly backwards. So this far corner over here has the tab, and it kind of lines up with the tab before. It's still going to be near the bottom. It's just going to be on this sidewall instead of this bottom floor right here. Realized that after I got halfway through the other one of setting it up. So if you find that it's not working like mine was, just rotate it around until it fits, trying to keeping that loop in that corner, just as a heads up. So keeping with the adage I said before, I find it easier to start with that side of the loop. So you're going to take it, pinch, and roll it. Some of them might be printed the right way. This one just happened to be printed backwards. If so, just try to keep that loop as close as you can to the bottom, like this one. And other than that, start on that wall and go all the way down. Same thing as before. So I started there. It's kind of this pinch, roll, drop into the channel. So you kind of throw it off the cliff, pinch into the channel. Kind of helps make it a little bit easier, and then you can kind of just walk it all the way down, doing that same motion. I do it kind of tiny, dramatic sizing it for the video, but most times you can hit it as just a zipper, just like that. And then you have one side done, and we have the corner and 3 more walls to go, and we shall have another wall. This side was a lot more friendly to me because I was able to do most of the section of just it sliding in like a weird little zipper, which works really well. Again, be mindful of that piece right here, and then just keep on going smartly. You might have to try to start it over again with that pinching it by the cliff, throwing it off the cliff into the channel. So pinch, off the cliff, into the channel. So pinch, off the cliff, into the channel. Alrighty, we got another panels. We have 2 down, 2 more to go. And just remember, corners as you get closer to the end will be a little bit tighter. So again, pinch, and then kind of roll it off the cliff into the channel. Sometimes it's easier to just give it a little tug, kind of like such. Pop out the little piece a little bit, just enough that you can just take it, roll it into itself to start it, like such. Makes it a little bit easier. Try to save your hands as best as possible because you're assembling a lot of these, but that way. Then pinch, roll off the cliff, and see, falls into the channel quite nicely. So pinch, roll off the cliff, and again pinch and off the cliff. See, pinch, roll into the channel it goes. So pinch, roll off the cliff, which is also the channel. I just call it a cliff because it sounded fun, but makes it a little bit easier to remember too. And then you can just do that whole motion all the way down until we hit to that corner again. Alrighty, so this section's done nice and smooth. That section down there is done and nice and smooth, and then that one right there is nice and smooth. Then this is our final section, and I will show you how to raise them up. So I'm nearing to this corner now. That will finalize our whole thing. Remember, we started right here by the loop. And again, still keeping that pinch roll off the cliff motion, allowing it to fall neatly into place. This end part's going to be a little bit tricky because it's right by the foot, but nothing you can't handle. If you get one section started, you could kind of work using the leg to your advantage. Push against the leg and it will help it fall into place neatly. There you go. You have all 4 sides assembled, and now we will raise the wall. So what you're going to do is make sure the feet are away from you, and you're going to grab it by that centerpiece again. It gives you kind of a handhold. Get it up to about your shoulder height if you can. Continue to push it up. Walk your hand down the wall. Put your feet at the base just so it doesn't happen to go all the way over. And there you have it. You have successfully made a wall.